7 minutes in heaven. This story is one of the most insane stories that I'm probably gonna ever tell on this channel. But before I do get into the story, I just want to mention that you guys should really quickly leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And did I mention I'm live on Twitch as we speak right now? So I am literally live. Make sure you guys go click the link down in the description below and watch me live streaming to you guys and telling more of these insane stories. Also, not to mention as well, you guys should definitely go watch the Fortnite girlfriend series on the Bubba channel. Seriously, I'm stuck with my Fortnite girlfriend. She's currently living with me and she's probably with me live as well. So if you guys do want to go check out the Fortnite series, click in the description down below as well and go into the Bubba channel and check out what's going on there. Other than that, let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba and welcome back to another insane story. So recently, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you guys have been crushing with these stories, and there's one story I haven't told yet because, well, it's a pretty basic story, and I think we all know the game 7 minutes in heaven. If you guys don't know the game, basically you get a chick or a guy, or I don't know which way you swing, and basically you go into a closet with them for 7 minutes, and whatever happens in those 7 minutes can be anything. You guys could kiss, you guys could cuddle, you guys could talk about your dirtiest secrets, or you guys could just do what I do all the time and just straight up do the devil's tango. Because, well, yeah, what else is there to do in a small closet? But there's one particular time where 7 minutes in heaven did not come by my side was the worst time, and I'll tell you guys, and it all starts in the very beginning. I remember back when I was in high school, this was my grade 11 year, and I was just a basic kid in grade 11. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I was known by a lot of girls for doing the devil's tango, but at the same time, I was a basic dude. And I remember basically going to go hang out with my friends and stuff, because I do have a couple guy groups I would go hang out with and just, you know, be hanging out with the boys. If you guys don't know, the boys are like a common thing that everyone has. But I remember one of the boys came up to me, and it was just a simple guy. It was kind of a cool friend. He walked up to me saying, "Yo, Bubba, like, bro, like, I'm having a party at my place, bro. Like, it's gonna be a really good party. Like, can you please, like, come and hang out as well?" I remember I looked at him and I'm like, "Bro, like, what do you mean it's a party? Like, how many people is it?" He ended up saying, "Dude, there's like gonna be like 15 people so far, but I know if you go, then I can get more chicks going." You know what I'm saying? Basically, what I meant by that was basically if I went to the party, more girls would end up going, because, well, if you guys don't know, like I said earlier, I was a lady slayer. A lot of girls knew that I was really good at doing the devil's tango. So in a way, I mean, you know, I guess they all want a piece of the pie or the eggplant or the watermelon. I don't know. There's a lot of fruits out there, okay? Anyways, I remember telling him, "You know what? Yeah, sure, buddy. I'll go. I'm down to go. We can go chill and stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be lit. I'm down. What time do I head out there?" He told me, "Yo, just be there at like 7 o'clock and yeah, just bring whoever you want, man. You got free entry." I said, "Bet." And then yeah, basically he invited me to the damn party. It was pretty chill and it was pretty awesome. You know, me getting invited to it. But I remember as I started walking away and heading to my next class, there was another chick that walks up to me. And this chick was no ordinary chick. This chick was actually, funny enough, the party host's ex-girlfriend. So remember, the person that just invited me to the party, yeah, this is his ex-girlfriend walking up to me. She walked up to me and she's like, "Oh my goodness, like, did he literally just invite you to his party? And are you actually gonna be ending up going?" I ended up telling her, "Yeah, I'm going. Like, why not?" He's like, "He's my bro, you know? Like, why not?" And after that, she tells me, "Bubba, you know he only wants you there because of the girls, right?" And I told him, "So?" I generally don't care. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't care. Like, I had no idea why she was complaining. And then she tells me, "Okay, well, like, if you're gonna go, then, like, let me go with you." As she comes up closer to me and basically, you know, putting her arm around my waist, I push her off and say, "Yo, you need to chill. I know what you're trying to do. Like, I'm not like that." And then she basically ends up looking at me with her wide eyes open saying, "Please, just let me go with you. Like, come on. Like, I haven't been to his house in forever. And, like, you know, I do really need a good party ever since we broke up." Sure. That's literally what I said. I said, "Sure." Honestly, I don't know why I did. You guys can hate me in the comments down below, but, like, I said, "Sure." Honestly, I didn't care. So I remember she was all smiling and giggling, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, like, yes, you're taking me." And then she says, "Okay, well, like, can you pick me up at like 7 o'clock with your car?" I ended up telling her, "Yeah, like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll pick you up." And she got all excited and ended up walking away. When she walked away, I remember I kind of just like started walking like to my next class again. And basically from there, I remember my buddy ended up walking up to me again, the guy who invited me in the first place, saying, "Yo, like, is it true? Like, you're bringing my ex-girlfriend?" I ended up telling him, like, "Yeah, bro, like, don't worry. Like, you guys broke up like months ago. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not even gonna try anything. She just wants to go to the party." And then he said, "Oh, okay, that's chill. But like, as long as like you guys don't do anything, because like that's not cool, you know what I'm saying?" And I ended up telling him, "Don't worry, me and her won't do anything at all. I promise." Yeah, basically that's what I told him. I promised him it. And reminder, I'm a man of my word. I don't like breaking promises. But at the same time, just remember I said that, okay? Just remember what the title of this video is. Going on though, I remember after, you know, the next day, I remember the party was happening. It was the day of the party. Everyone at school was all excited and stuff. And, you know, we ended up getting more than 50 people going. going. So it was gonna be an actual party, not like a Getty with like less than 20 people. I remember all hyped up and excited, and I remember the school day ends, we all go home, we all get ready. I end up snapping the chick saying, yo, I'm gonna like pick you up at this time, like be ready. She gets all hyped up. She's like, oh my god, like I'll be ready. And like, you know, she's all excited and stuff. Me, I generally didn't care. I kind of just wore tight jeans and I think a flannel. I wore a flannel. I definitely wore a flannel, knowing me back in high school. And basically from there, I ended up going to my car in my blue Toyota Celica, driving to her house, picking her up, and she was wearing a really tight outfit. Like, holy cow. Like, you can see Mount Columbus and basically Mount Everest down there. Like, she was wearing a tight outfit. And from there, I remember we ended up going to my buddy's place and we were all there. There was like 50 people. We were all drinking, hanging out, basically all having a good time. Now, this is where the funniest part happens, I think, and this is where things get really weird. I remember during the party, things were like kind of like getting slow and stuff. And then I remember my buddy walked up to me. He's like, dude, like we should do something. What should we do? And then some nitwit at the party, and this guy was like absolutely like a dummy. Like, he looked dumb, okay? Like, he was definitely like in some way weird. Comes up to us and he's like, dude, like we could play like a game together. Like, let's play like 7 minutes in heaven. What? You want to play 7 minutes in heaven? What are we, 12? Is what I told him. But then he's like, nah, like trust me, it'll be fun. It'll make us like get more closer with the girls. That was the most creepiest thing I think anyone's ever said. But I said, sure, whatever. I remember the host of the party ends up standing on top of his table, his like little coffee table that he stood on, where there was like a bunch of beer cans already. By the way, don't underage drink. Not a good idea. And he says, yo, everyone come together. We're gonna do 7 minutes in heaven. Yeah, everyone looked at each other and they're like, seriously? And some of the girls actually got excited, funny enough. So we all ended up getting in a circle and we basically all started talking and playing. We ended up spinning the bottle. We ended up doing all that weird stuff. And basically we spun the bottle to another person. Basically they would get up, they would go to the closet. They would be there for like 7 minutes. God knows who knows what they were doing. Like, it got to a point where a girl had to readjust her bra. So you already know something was going on. And basically it ended up going again and again into a cycle. I remember as I was sitting down there, I was sitting beside my buddy, and basically I spun the bottle because it was my turn. And when I spun it, I remember it landed on a chick, but it wasn't any chick. And reminder, I promised my friend that I would never do anything with his ex-girlfriend, but the bottle landed on his ex-girlfriend. So I had no idea what to do at this moment. I remember I looked at him and he ended up staring me down with like dead beating eyes saying, better not do anything, bro. That's my ex, bro. And I looked at him like, dude, I'm not gonna do anything. I won't do anything. I won't even lay a hand on her. Reminder, I said I wouldn't lay a hand. So I remember me and her, we stood up. We went inside this guy's closet. I'm not gonna lie, the closet smelled like absolute garbage and it smelled like devil's tango. So we're just sitting in there. We're not sitting. We're standing up close to each other. And she's like telling me, like, as we're close up to each other, she's like, so like, what do you want to do? I ended up looking at her and I'm like, oh, well, you're kind of my friend's ex. So like, I don't know if there's any good idea to actually do. She ends up getting closer and she's like, I can think of an idea to do. And yeah, she ended up grabbing my eggplant and one thing led to another. We ended up doing the devil's tango. But reminder, I won't lie to you guys. I kept my word. I put my hands behind my back and I didn't do anything. She did everything. I didn't do anything. And on top of that, not to mention, I mentioned I wouldn't lay a hand, not an eggplant. So yeah, that happened. And then the closet door opened. I ended up going out and she ended up putting on her pants again. And when she was readjusting her pants, let's just say my buddy knew that something went down and he kept asking me throughout the entire night, what happened. And I said the same thing I said to him before I even got into that closet. Dude, I promise you, I didn't lay a hand on her. Yeah, that's basically it. Honestly, there's always loopholes to what you could say, which goes to your word, but at the same time, it's better to be safe than sorry. Other than that, 7 minutes in heaven, still an iconic game, still play it to this day. I play with my Fortnite girlfriend a lot, but yeah, other than that, that's basically it. All right, guys, that's basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And on top of that, did I mention to go subscribe to all the new channels are out? Bubba channel, go subscribe. Bubba Gaming, go subscribe. Crazy gaming content going on there soon. And I'm live on Twitch, so go click the link down in the description below. Okay, so I think everyone knows the game 7 minutes in heaven, and I've talked about this so many times on the channel, but today's story is about doing 7 minutes in heaven at a slumber party. And what happens in the slumber party was the most bizarre thing, but at the same time embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me in a long time. So obviously, before we get into the story, make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, means a lot when you guys do. And let's just jump straight into this embarrassing story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba and welcome back to a super embarrassing story time. So today's story all takes place back when I was in grade 11. Now in grade 11, I'm not gonna lie to you, one thing I was usually invited to was parties, but the way I was invited to this party was the most weirdest invite ever, because I remember I was sitting in the cafeteria just eating my sandwich in the middle of lunchtime, and I remember this girl ends up walking up to me. Now this girl, she was a part of the cheerleading team in the school, and well, let's just say her walking up to me was very bizarre because yes, I did play rugby, but no, I never really had a good reputation with the cheerleaders because most of them did hate me. But this one girl did not hate me, and she was hosting a house party that was happening, and when she came up to me, she said, hey Bubba, I'm hosting this crazy party at my place tomorrow. I was wondering if you wanted to like join in. Yeah, sure. I'm in for a party. What time is it at? Oh, it's starting like really late at like 10, but make sure you bring your pajamas. Why am I bringing my pajamas? Well, like, obviously, aren't you gonna stay the night? You want me to stay the night? Now, at this point, I thought she wanted me to, like, you know, stay the night and me and her can do the devil's tango. And, you know, maybe like she wanted to like make something between us happen. You know what I mean? And I wasn't gonna say no because she was a hot cheerleader. But then she ended up saying, well, yeah, but also I want everyone else to stay the night too. Like, it's a slumber party. Oh, it's a slumber party. Yeah, sure, I'm in. Yeah. What time is it at? Well, it starts at 9 and everyone leaves tomorrow morning before 12. Okay, yeah, cool. I'll be there. Now, when I heard about a slumber party happening, obviously I found it really weird because what kind of girl hosts a party with guys and girls having a sleepover? Like, it's never been seen before, nor ever been said until today. And I remember I was so confused on how that was gonna work. I ended up going to some of my buddies that were probably gonna get invited to this party. When I went up to them, I said, yo, guys, I was just curious. Are you guys invited to this party that's going on this weekend? Nah, bro, I never got invited to that party. Apparently, like, a lot of girls are going, so they're trying to make it like more girls than guys. So if you were invited, like, good stuff, bro. I remember he ended up dabbing me up and I was so confused on what was going on because, like, why was I invited? Obviously, I found this weird, but at the same time, I got really excited when he told me that more girls were going than guys, to the point where, I'm not gonna lie to you, I knew this party was gonna be one to remember. And oh boy, it was. Because what ends up happening next was really, really weird. I remember the next day, it was a Saturday, and basically I didn't have school, and I kind of just ended up doing my house chores and everything and playing Call of Duty in the morning. And then when it came towards the nighttime, I remember I got my PJs on and I got my sleeping bag and I basically prepared my car and drove over to this girl's house. When I got to this girl's house, I remember I was like really excited to see who was gonna be there because obviously, like my friend said earlier, there was a lot more girls than guys going. And when I got to the front door, I remember instantly out of nowhere, this girl ends up answering the door that absolutely hated me. I am not joking when I say this. Like, this girl was the definition of an emo girl that just hated all the good things in life, including me. And I remember she looked at me saying, oh, okay, well, welcome to the party. Everyone's over there, Baba. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, I'll see you there, I guess. And I remember I ended up going into the party and I was just basically having a good time drinking, which, by the way, do not underage drink, guys. It is not a smart thing to do, and also it is not cool. The only reason I did it was to pretend to be cool. Going on with the story, I remember basically there was a lot of people there and mostly a lot of girls, like my friend said. And I remember me, I was just hopping girl to girl trying to talk to each and every single one of them. Obviously, there was like 3 other guys there, but what can I say? I think I was the only guy at the rugby team at the time, and honestly, a lot of these girls were basically, I guess, trying to, you know, have a good time with like a certain guy. It was one of the most weirdest situations ever because I never had that many girls surrounding me at once. Well, I mean, I did, but not this time back when I was in grade 11. And then out of nowhere, I remember when everyone was there finally, it was around like 10 o'clock at night. One of the girls ended up going on top of a table saying, oh my goodness, guys, we should play a game. We should all play 7 minutes in heaven. Now, this is where the story gets really weird because when she announced that, a lot of girls were on board. And me and the 3 other guys that were there just kept looking at each other thinking, is this really a good idea to do with this many girls? Obviously, though, we didn't really care. We were all excited to be there. So we all ended up sitting in a circle. And basically, I remember I sat beside the party host and she handed me the bottle that we were spinning for choosing who gets to go into closet first. And she gave it to me saying, okay, Bubba, you spin. Yeah, okay, I'll spin. And I remember once I placed that bottle down, I spun it and it landed on the girl that hated my guts. Yeah, the one that answered the door in the beginning. She basically ended up getting the bottle landed on her and she looks at me saying, oh, you gotta be joking. I remember she didn't want to get up and nor did I, but then the host of the party said, guys, you have to obey the rules. Just get in the closet for like 7 minutes. It won't kill you. I remember me and her, we ended up just looking at each other. We both stood up at the same time, really awkwardly, and we both ended up walking into the closet. When we went in there, I remember me and this girl, we didn't know what the issue was between each other. We didn't understand why we hated each other, nothing. So I remember I looked at her and basically with the lights on in the closet, I said, I'm just curious, why do you hate me? Like, what did I do to you? What did you do to me? Are you really gonna ask that right now? Baba, you literally did the devil's tango with one of my friends and never called her back. You know how much that hurt her feelings? Oh, wait, so that's what you're mad about? Because something I did to your friend? Not even to you? You don't know how it feels. I don't know how it feels to be left after doing the devil's tango. Well, I mean, I guess. I don't know. Wait, why is that such a big issue? And me and her, we ended up yelling at each other inside the closet, and it was pretty obvious everyone outside of the closet heard us yell at each other. And then I remember as things kept getting heated and heated in that closet, and me and her just kept yelling and yelling and yelling at each other. It got to a point where me and her, we got so close to the point where we started making out. I don't know how. I guess, you know, in the heat in the moment, me and her just both thought since we leaned into each other and since we were in a really tight space, face, we just start making out for some reason. And that wasn't even the craziest part, because later on she ended up grabbing my pants, and yeah, we ended up doing the devil's tango. I will say this much, it was one of the most awkward high school experiences I've had in a closet, but I mean, it was 7 minutes in heaven. In a way, we still had like, what, 4 minutes left to do whatever we wanted after yelling at each other for like the other, like, what, 5 minutes? So I mean, it is what it is. But if you guys thought the story ended there, no, because let's just say after we came out of the closet, everyone started basically looking at each other, confused of how we went from yelling at each other to basically going dead silent and doing our own thing, in which I don't blame them for being confused. Me and her, we decided not to say anything that happened, because we decided that me and her, we just hate each other. Now, I think this next part of the story really made me question everything that happened in that party, because things get even weirder between me and this girl. Because I remember later on at night, it became like, I want to say like 11:30 to 12 almost, and a lot of people were getting tired. So I remember I basically got my bed set up and everything, and I ended up sleeping in the living room close to the other 3 other dudes that were there. We basically hogged the TV and started watching a movie together as just the guys, even though we barely knew each other, because we're all from like different sectors of school. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, basically like one was like, you know, a nerd, the other one was like a rugby player, which was me, the other one was like a theater kid. Like, it was just like the most weirdest group of guys that you would never see end up hanging out together. And I remember as we were watching this movie, most of us ended up passing out except me, because I can't sleep during movies. It just doesn't make sense to me to sleep halfway through a movie. But then out of nowhere, I ended up hearing footsteps coming down the stairs. I looked to go see who it was, and I ended up seeing that it was the girl that hated me. She looked over at me and said, "Baba, come here. Come here, Baba." I remember when I went upstairs and said, "Yo, like, what's going on?" She said, "Baba, honestly, after what you did to my friend, you really made me upset. And honestly, I'm gonna punish you my way." Me and her, we ended up going into another room, which was the most weirdest thing ever, because we ended up going into her parents' room of all rooms. And me and her, we ended up doing the devil's tango almost all night in that room with the girl that literally hated me. It made no sense how this happened, and honestly, I was super confused. But let's just say the next morning when me and her both woke up, things got super awkward, because I remember all my friends ended up basically waking up earlier than us, and they basically ended up seeing me and this girl in the host's parents' room. And yeah, let's just say things got really awkward, and obviously me and her, we had to explain to everyone how basically, like, you know, it was a mistake, even though I guess in a way it really wasn't, because afterwards me and her, we became friends with benefits, which didn't last long. But hey, it is what it is. Okay, so when I say the word 7 minutes in heaven, I think we've all played the game. If you haven't played 7 minutes in heaven, are you really a high schooler, is what my question would be. But today's story does get really crazy, and I just want to say, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. If this video hits 1,000 likes, I will film a video shirtless. Why am I doing that? Can I even do that on YouTube? I can? Okay, well, yes, I will film a video shirtless for you guys. I feel like people are gonna dislike the video now. Okay, anyways, continuing on. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to an insane story. So today's story takes place back when I was actually in grade 10. Now, in grade 10, I played the game 7 Minutes in Heaven in many different places. I played it at, you know, McDonald's. I played it at a house party. But one place I've never played 7 Minutes in Heaven in was my school. Now, school is usually a place where people learn, people, you know, sit around, you know, jerk off, and all this dumb stuff that, you know, most kids do nowadays in school. But I remember one time we ended up getting an announcement call basically on like the speakers of the school, and it said something like this. Okay, would all the grade 10s be listening? We're going to have an amazing time where you guys get to stay in the school overnight sleeping. So if you want to stay in the school overnight, hang out with friends, go right ahead. It starts tomorrow at 8 p.m. Be there. Basically what this meant was that a bunch of high schoolers, grade 10s, got to stay in school overnight and basically get to hang out with each other overnight in school. Now, usually I would want to stay away from school, and to this day, I still hate school. But at the same time, staying overnight in a high school, now that's interesting. I remember throughout the school day, all our friends were like talking about this, saying, whoa, like, should we go in there? Should we do it? Like, I don't know, like, what are we gonna do? Is there gonna be like parents there and stuff? But at the same time, when me and all the guys were deciding if we should go, all the girls throughout the school were saying that they're going. All the girls wanted to go. All the girls wanted to basically stay in the night at school. And honestly, at that point, knowing that a bunch of girls were going, it was an automatic decision for us guys to go as well, because, you know, girls, guys, you know, it's the whole side. You guys get what I mean. Like, come on, you guys are not dumb. You guys are kids, bro. Come on, you guys get this. And from there, basically, I remember me and the guys, we were all like basically heading home that night. And that night, you know, the day before the whole thing happened, me and all the guys were talking over Xbox, basically discussing, you know, what we're gonna do. Are we gonna bring anything? And one of my friends decided to say, yo, bro, not gonna lie, I'm gonna bring a bunch of cool things to do, and I'm also gonna bring some booze. Now, if you guys don't know what booze is alcohol. And before I continue on with the story, YouTube, I know you want me to do the this more because I got an email from you guys saying this. Yes, guys, do not underage drink. Underage drinking is not cool. It's not special. You're not cooler underage drinking. Don't do this. Am I good? Am I good? I'm good. Okay, perfect. Anyways, going on with the story. I remember from there, basically, I really didn't know how I felt about drinking at school. But at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. I guess it wouldn't kill anybody. And also, like, adult supervision would be less there. It's not like we're there to actually learn anything where we actually need our brains active. So I ended up saying to them, yeah, I mean, I'm down. Why not? And then after that, I remember that's when things ended up going on a downward spiral. Because the next day, the day of when everything was supposed to happen, throughout the school day, everybody, and I mean every single student, was talking about all the things they wanted to do that night. And I remember there was one popular kid in my school. We're going to name him something. We're going to name him Eli. Eli wanted to do something so extreme and so crazy to the point where he wanted to host party games that require us to drink more. Knowing this, obviously, not a lot of people wanted to back down, and the girls were ecstatic. I guess girls like drinking. Once again, don't underage drink. So I remember that day of, basically, I ended up going home, packing my sleeping bag and getting everything I need to have a good night. And I even got a giant air mattress that my mom gave me that she used to use with my dad. To do what? I'm not going to ask them because it's none of my business. Hopefully it's not what I'm thinking. And then afterwards, I ended up basically taking that air mattress and everything I needed to go to school. When I got to school, I remember I ended up basically bringing everything in. It was super late at night. And basically there were a lot of students at the school. When we were all there, I remember I ended up meeting up with my friends. We ended up basically, like, you know, settling down a spot that we wanted to be in. And the place we chose to go to was the theater room. Now, if you guys don't know, the theater room is basically like a stage. And on stage, there's like, you know, dressing rooms and stuff. And there's easy access to bathrooms. And it's a place where many teachers don't like to go because for some reason, they just have like this like weird feeling of going to the theater room. And knowing that a lot of the LGBTQIA students weren't going to be there, it was the perfect opportunity for us guys to just take it over. So me and all the guys, we ended up basically placing our stuff there and basically taking over the theater room. When we were all in there, I remember all the guys, like, you know, we sat down, we started like hanging out and stuff. And then one of the buddies that said he was bringing alcohol ended up bringing it in. And basically we started, you know, taking a couple drinks. We ended up drinking. And then one thing led to another. We recognized that a guy was, you know, peeking through the door, seeing what we were doing. And he ended up walking in saying, yo, you guys got alcohol? And that's when we realized it was the popular kid in our school, Eli. Now, Eli, when he found out about it, let's just say a lot of other students started figuring out that we had alcohol, and a lot of them started bringing their alcohol to the theater room. And obviously there was like, you know, teachers walking around the school, making sure like, you know, people were safe. But a lot of the main students that went to the gym. So the teachers thought, oh, all we have to do is secure the gym and everything's okay. Knowing that we had basically a bunch of students drinking in a classroom all by themselves without supervision, you already know things are about to get ugly. We all start basically hanging out, doing our thing. We all take swigs, you know, all that stuff that, you know, teenagers do. You teenagers, if you're watching this video and you guys are in high school, you know what I'm talking about, okay? I know you know what I'm talking about. We do all that until Eli decides to stand on like, you know, this like set prop thing that we have there. I don't know, some sort of like little stage. And he stood on it saying, all right, we're gonna play a game. Let's play 7 Minutes in Heaven. Okay, is what everyone said. And all of us ended up getting in a circle and we basically started playing the game. Now, 7 Minutes in Heaven is a very simple game. Basically, it's when you get two people, put them in a room for 7 minutes, and whatever happens, happens. You can say what you want afterwards, but basically, what 7 Minutes in Heaven is supposed to do is that you're supposed to do the devil's tango. Now, we all started basically, you know, playing the game. There were people that went in there and did absolutely nothing, and there were people that went in there, and let's just say their hair was really messed up, and putting on clothing, well, they're not doing it fast enough. Let's just say that. And one thing I realized that Eli, the most popular kid in our school, really wanted to reinforce this rule that basically, if you go over 7 minutes, we're allowed to walk in on you. Yeah. So if let's say you're in the middle of hitting it from the back, if you pass 7 minutes, Eli's walking in. So basically, we all had like a timer on our phones. Me, I had a watch, actually. I had an Apple Watch. It was an old one, but I had an Apple Watch that I basically set a timer for if I ever get selected. And basically, one thing led to another. I ended up getting, you know, basically selected from a girl that I was actually pretty interested in at the time in high school. And she was a really attractive girl. She was a blonde girl, very beautiful. And she had one of those smiles where the more you look at her, the more cuter she gets. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a weird type of woman, but you know, she was hot and she had a nice pair of cherries. So either way, I wasn't losing. And let's just say, I remember me and her, we ended up basically getting up and going into the change room. The change room's where we went to because it was just one long hallway that guys and girls went into. So me and her, we went into the change room. And when we went in there, she looked at me saying, I mean, what do you want me to do? I don't know, whatever you want is what I said. So that's when she straight up just decided to bend over and literally just start like, you know, facing her buttocks towards me. And that's when we did the devil's tango. We basically did that. And one thing I realized is that she's a really loud person, like a really, really loud person when she's doing the devil's tango. So as I'm like, you know, all you're hearing in the other room is just basically women noises and moaning. And I remember I was so like kind of just weirded out because I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. And yeah, let's just say I did not check the timer on my watch when we were playing the game. And Eli decides to just walk in. And when he walked in, the first thing he saw was my enormous eggplant. And I'm not joking when I say this. His jaw dropped heavily. Like it went like this to... like, it was crazy. To be fair, it was a massive eggplant back when I was in high school. It still is a massive eggplant. I shouldn't be saying that. It's YouTube. What am I doing, bro? Is this even a kid's... can I switch to Rumble? Is this even legal? Anyways, from there, let's just say one thing led to another. Things got really insane. And the girl was totally embarrassed, but she ended up pulling her pants up in time, so I guess she was fast. And me, well, I didn't care anymore, to be honest. I just walked out of there, and everyone's just clapping for me, you know, because they know I did the deed. And yeah, that was the time where I did 7 minutes in heaven at school. Kind of insane, kind of weird, but I mean, hey, it's just another one of those experiences.